Can we not allow these attacks on Kamala Harris? Look, over the past week, folk on all sides of the aisle have piled on in a series of attacks on the California senator and Democratic presidential candidate. And not coincidentally, this has happened at the same time that she is going up in the polls. It all needs to stop. First, you got black people saying that Kamala Harris isn't black enough because of the race of her husband. Huh? Like, do you know how many trash-ass politicians, policymakers, and everyday people have black spouses? This is wrong-headed and it's sexist, judging her by the race of her spouse. Then you have people like Donald Trump Jr., a.k.a. Fredo, retweeting and deleting the narrative that Kamala Harris isn't black enough because her parents aren't descendants of slaves. This argument only makes sense if you don't understand words like diaspora. That, you know, African people weren't just dropped off in the U.S., we're everywhere. And black people whose parents are from the Caribbean have done a decent job of advocating for us. Maybe you've heard of Harry Belafonte, Malcolm X, people like that. But now relax. I'm not saying she's Malcolm X or Harry Belafonte. Different politics, different tradition. She's a whole different sort. Stay with me. Now, you have Joe Biden's camp challenging Harris for taking the VP to task for his reckless comments about segregationist senators and his problematic position on busing. Note to Donald Trump, busing is about desegregation. It's not a random mode of transportation to school. Anyway, instead of criticizing Biden for refusing to acknowledge that his words were hurtful and that his position on states' rights and busing was wrong, they blame Kamala. They said that her criticism was a low blow and that she's helping Trump. Helping Trump? No. She's not helping Trump. She's calling out her opponent in a contested election. She's running for president. She's not some brown political pick-me for VP. And low blow? That language is quite deliberate. Painting her as an emasculating troublemaker is yet another way to frame Kamala in ways that are ultimately racist and sexist. The word of the day, misogynoir. There's plenty of reasons to criticize Kamala. Criminal justice, education, reparations, her own record as a prosecutor. Do it. I know I'm going to do it. I don't like neoliberal candidates, but leave it to policy and leave her blackness and her life alone. Black Coffee starts now. I'm tired now. Welcome to BET's Black Coffee. I'm Mark Lamont Hill, alongside Gia Peppers and Jameer Pond.
Woo!
And we have a special guest.
Oh, yes.
He really needs no introduction. You can call him an actor who sings, or you can call him a singer who acts. You may also know him from the recent Superfly remake, which was amazing, and Freeform's amazing show, Grownish. Give it up for Trevor Jackson.
Yeah!
Best show
Wasn't that good?
That was the best
Wasn't
one.
that good?
Welcome,
We do what we can. We do what we can. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Trevor.
How you doing today?
Good, man. I'm happy to be alive. I had my last show of tour the day before last, so I feel really good. New York sold out, Atlanta sold out.
Oh, man.
Chicago sold out.
Come on, sold out.
Congrats.
Selling out everywhere.
They told me not to do the tour. They were like, you shouldn't do the tour, you know.
Why?
Whoa.
No, you just get it, they're like, oh, he won't be able to sell tickets or, you know, just anything. So it just feels good because we were talking about it last year and it came to fruition and I just feel like you just got to do it, man.
Yeah.
Nothing to it but to do it.
Yeah,
That's
and you
dope.
sold out everywhere. Look at you proving everybody wrong.
Proving
A
everybody
lot
wrong.
of power in the rat tail, bro.
Hey,
Look, hey.
it's a dragon tail. I'm rebranding.
Dragon tail. Dragon
Dragon.
That
tail.
sounds more dignified than rat tail.
Dragon tail. There's a lot of power there. There's a lot of power there.
Yo, people are geeked for you to be here. We had so many fans writing in, so many people on Twitter saying, yo, we want to talk to them, we want to talk to them. Make sure you do talk to us.
Please.
Also, by the way, we have a YouTube channel that's up now, so make sure you go there. You can subscribe to our YouTube and see all the episodes. Go ahead and subscribe right now. Do it. Black Coffee. That's youtube.com/BET Black Coffee. Plus, we want your comments on the question of the day. Do you think there's a divide between the Black and Latino communities? We'll be reading your comments throughout the show. But
All right.
Gia got some important business for you.
Hold up now.
Okay.
Hold up.
Yes, okay, here we go.
Wait.
We're playing the game right now?
Playing
Okay.
the game.
All
We
right.
better.
Because we got some talk to get to in a little
yes.
bit. But before, we always like to play a game with our guests, and you've heard of the game One Gotta Go. It's like the
Yes.
Twitter,
Yes.
fun game. So today is Missy Elliott's 47th birthday.
Hey.
Shout out to
Shout out
Missy.
to the living legend that
I got
she
what you
is.
want.
Yeah, she changed the game in so many ways, but
many
of
ways.
course, musically is how we got to know her first, as a producer and now as a singer-artist herself. So we're gonna do a One Gotta Go of Missy's songs. You gotta choose which one has to leave the group, all right? All right, let's put it up on this monitor so we can see which are the four that Trevor has to choose from. Okay.
Oh.
It's Missy, Get Your Freak On,
Missy.
The Rain, Work It, Ladies Night, the remix.
Probably Ladies' Night, I'll give it
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
No drum roll for that one.
So
You get that shit out of here. Jameer.
That's the only one I'm not singing back in my head when I'm looking at the picture.
Yeah.
Get your freak on. I can't stand the rain. I'm seeing
Yeah.
Ladies, I don't remember how that.
Okay.
All I think of is Ladies Night.
Right.
Yeah. So
But is it a remake? Is it a remake?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me because Ladies Night was such an iconic like visual, even with just like seeing all of them on stage,
Absolutely.
on set, Left Eye, Lil' Kim, Angie
Martinez,
like,
shout out to Angie.
Yo, it's just
Must
dope.
be Angie on the mic.
It must be Angie on the mic. Like that line alone always will stick with me as a young woman growing up in hip hop culture and people saying like women couldn't work together. Like seeing them and then Missy just with her flyness, bring it all together. Like Ladies Night is really hard for me to remove, but in those songs, The Rain is where we knew like how
Rain
dope.
ain't going nowhere.
That ain't going nowhere. That's a
Nowhere.
staple.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm throwing away The Rain.
What?
Only because Ladies Night. Ladies Night meant so much to me, y'all. It meant so much to me to see all of those women on this. It really did.
Now,
You must have really liked that video.
And they I really, well, you gotta, I was 10.
Just look at the pictures.
I was 10,
That's fair.
11 when that came out.
That's fair.
The Rain, when it came out, kind of creeped me out. I was like 6, 7. It creeped me out with like, I was like, I don't do horror.
Wow.
I don't like it. I'm a kid of the videos, you know, who used to sit and watch videos all day.
Oh my God.
So when the Ladies Night remix came out, I know it wasn't the best song lyrically, but what it meant for women in hip hop was really big.
That's fair.
I'll give you that. The only Missy didn't have a verse on Ladies Night. She was on the chorus.
She sang the hook.
But she brought it all together.
Nah, that's why she gotta go. Not she.
Fine.
That's why Ladies Night
Okay.
gotta go because
That's
she
fair
didn't have
argument.
a verse, and it wasn't Missy's song. It was like a collection of women's songs.
It's like a bedrock.
Exactly.
Yes, but just women empowerment in this case.
Oh, so you don't like women empowerment?
No,
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
I said
kidding,
in
I'm
comparison to Bedrock, and stop looking at me with that dumb face. All right? I'm just saying that has
It's just
to
my
go.
face.
I don't like it then. I don't like it. Out of all those songs, that being the non-Missy song, I gotta go with Ladies Night. But I
Fine.
will agree that it did a lot for women in hip hop.
All right, unfortunately, I'm gonna agree with Jameer as much as I don't like to. Actually, no, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm getting rid of
But I
Ladies
agree
Night.
with you. So we can.
Okay, all right.
It's fine.
Cool,
I'm
cool,
agreeing with
cool.
Trevor.
Either way, all songs are fire. And speaking of things that are fire,
Uh-oh.
the internet is on fire.
Yes.
It's ablaze. Because the NBA,
Whoa.
the free agency, the moves, the things that happened last night, please can we talk about it?
Money.
Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, coming to Brooklyn.
Yes.
Wow.
Price of the brick went up, man.
I'm afraid for my rent.
Oh my God, that's what I'm saying, man. Living in Brooklyn, I'm a little scared about that, man.
Yep.
But that's a big deal.
I'm happy to see them here.
I think you guys need some. Brooklyn does need help though, right?
Brooklyn,
Basketball-wise.
yeah.
I mean, now
They
Brooklyn,
needed that.
Brooklyn
Oh, they
did
needed
well.
that.
I mean, damn.
Yeah, they
Brooklyn
made it
did
to the
well.
playoffs.
Yeah, they did well.
Then they lost to
I
the
mean-
Sixers, yeah. I'm from Philly.
Yeah, we know they lost to the
They
Sixers.
won't be losing the Sixers no more.
Yes, they will.
Oh, you sure?
Kevin Durant ain't even playing in 2020. He's got one leg right now.
You think he
brother.
could, and he could beat half of them on one leg? I can tell you that.
Jameer's feeling smug because he's a Lakers fan.
And
there's-
I did all right. We made out.
Well, there's a chance Kawhi Leonard could land there.
That is true.
And if Kawhi Leonard lands there today or tomorrow, when he opens his mouth to speak, we'll find out. That could be anything. Right.
That live.
It's gonna say.
Right.
Did you guys see the guy trying to give him a fist bump and he was like,
Nah.
He said,
That was just a guy with his teammate.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
the business.
I was like, I think if that was my team, I would have said, yeah, bro, why didn't you dab me up? And he really was like,
Keep it on business.
Too much.
I'm
Too
like,
close.
what happened before the game? He's like, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. I was like, nah.
He said, I won't even be here.
I
won't be here.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler
is
left
going
Philadelphia.
to South Beach.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I feel
as a
okay.
Sixers?
So, Jimmy Butler is 29 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
In NBA years, that's aging.
Yeah.
He wanted a 5-year deal from Philly. Philly would only offer a 4-year deal because in the 5th year, we'd be paying him almost $50 million.
Yeah.
I understand it. We were able to do a sign and trade. We got Josh Richardson from Miami, young guy, 25, and we were able to sign Al Horford, who's older from Boston but can play. So we took something from Boston. We took something from Miami. I think we're a better starting five, and we have more money to spend. I think we're a better team. I think the Sixers right now are the best team in the East, unless Kawhi comes back to Toronto.
Okay.
And you're Washington Wizards.
You guys are stagnant.
I mean, okay, we didn't do much. I just hope Brad stays. Brad, please stay.
No.
Brad,
I heard
stay.
Bradley Beal's going to Miami too.
No, but that's still on the table.
Yes,
that's
it's
still
a
very
rumor.
much on the table.
Just a rumor.
So let's just leave Brad alone. Thank you very much. But I
It don't really get cold on South Beach. I'm just saying.
It doesn't get cold on South Beach.
It doesn't.
But I love Brad in DC, so leave us alone. One of the things that was really dope, Actually, no, it wasn't dope. It was sad to see the Knicks fans react.
No, it wasn't.
To all the news, because we live in New York, so we have a lot of New York friends, and everybody on Twitter, you would have thought that someone passed away, the way that they were mourning the season. And so I was just like, but where was the whole, why do y'all think it's gonna go right at this point?
Well, because people still think New York is a big market, somebody's gonna come here. And so they were waiting there like Celie at the mailbox.
Oh,
anything come for me? And nothing came.
That's not true. Bobby Portis is there.
Right, and they were like, any more coming?
No.
Could be not.
Yeah.
But all those players were like, Kevin Durant met with the Knicks, but they were not trying to give him the max. So Kevin's like, oh.
Now, Trev, you are a KD fan. So are you going to be in Brooklyn more often as well?
Probably, sure. I'll definitely come for a game. For sure.
One or two.
For sure. I do want to see them improve, though. I feel like, you know, but then, like I said, they need it.
Do you have time to actually watch sports anymore?
Not as much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more so if it's on, I can watch it. But
Yeah.
I'm not really as caught up as I.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, I got to make a song.
I was going to ask you. Could you spend most of, I know as an actor and as a singer, like, you split your time, but do you enjoy songwriting the most in terms of what you do with your
I mean,
free
for
time?
sure. So, like, whenever I'm at the crib, because I made this album and the last album in my living room. I just have 2 speakers, a mic, and a computer. And literally, like, I'll wake up from, like, sleep, an idea or whatever, and go make a song. Or I'm watching something, somebody says something on TV, oh, that's a song, you know what I'm saying? Make it. But yeah, I feel like if I'm not doing something, I feel crazy. So I'm glad I always have one or the other to go to.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not in the studio, I'm on set. If I'm not on set, I'm recording or trying to direct a video or write a concept. And I'm even producing now. I got 2 films I'm producing. So I'm just trying to.
Yo, that's major.
You ain't got time to follow up on nobody's KD.
I know, dang, well. But the NBA, yo, I will say to wrap that up the conversation, I'm super excited for the season. They know how to keep us entertained in the offseason.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, it's gonna be dope.
I can't wait. I was thinking about your artistry, obviously, that made me think of the other thing that was fire on the internet last night, which was Lil Nas X.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all heard about
Yes,
this,
I heard about
right?
that.
So for those that don't know, for whatever reason, you might have been watching basketball, but a lot of folks are interpreting Lil Nas X's tweets last night on Sunday as an official coming out announcement. He posted this. Some of y'all already know, some of y'all don't care, some of y'all not gonna F with me no more, but before this month ends, this month being Pride Month, I want y'all to listen closely to Closure. Then he followed up with another tweet of his album cover with the caption, "Deadass, I thought I made it obvious." I mean, he's being somewhat coy here, but it's clear from what I can see that he's coming out. And even when people retweeted him saying that he came out or saying that he was...
He didn't deny it.
Yeah, he didn't deny it. A lot of times he laughed with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And things like that. What's your sense?
Hey, you gotta live free, man. I'm glad. I feel like nobody should it's like almost like in bondage when you're not living like your true self. And that's what I advocate on the whole album, actually. And the reason why I call it Rough Drafts is about accepting the journey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I support that, man.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I feel like whatever version of Lil Nas X we've been getting, I'm such a fan of. He is literally like this walking representation of how Blackness is just not monolithic. Like he just is who he is, and at the end of the day, I love watching him, and I'm happy for him. Like if he feels freer, let's do it. Like whatever. Like I love it.
I'm definitely super proud, super happy for him because I'm like you said, bondage. You live in that captivity of your own self.
Yeah.
And to not be able to express that, I'm sure is definitely.
You're almost a shell of
who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
So, #1 song in the country, last day of Pride, made it count, said, hey, this is who I am. I support that.
Yeah, and it lets everybody all over the world know that you can be whoever, do whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As somebody who came up in hip-hop, listening to hip-hop in the 90s, that was a time we were still looking for the gay rapper.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so to see the juxtaposition of the 90s to now, remember we were looking for the gay rapper. There was this idea that there was one gay interloper, and if we could just find this person and out them, hip hop would be all straight. And anybody in the industry, anybody in the business knows there's a lot of gay rappers. Just like there's a lot of gay makeup artists, there's a lot of gay set designers. Hip hop is built on gay lesbian labor, right? Transgender, bisexual labor. But this idea that we had to find who it was because we were so anxious and scared of there being a gay person in hip hop, to now have someone who's the #1 rapper or at least #1 song in the country, also adding in the country music piece of it, which also has homophobic undertones. All these genres do. To have this artist come out at the end of Pride Month. That's huge.
And he did it in a way that was so chill. He's like, I thought y'all been new. Like I said that before. Like,
oh, y'all didn't know?
Y'all didn't know?
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, I guess I should say something.
Right.
No, because that is such a good point, though, because we've never had an artist of this, like, magnitude say, like, hey, look, just so you know, I'm gay. And that's fire. Like, I think he's dope. So whatever he does will be great.
Yes.
I think this weekend, a lot of things. So between that, the NBA, and
it was a lot.
Cardi B setting the internet on fire
per usual
by saying, like, she was just basically talking about the balance or the lack thereof between the African American community and the Latino X community.
Absolutely.
So let's take a look at it.
Oh, Cardi's Latin. She's not black, and it's just like, bro, my features don't come from fucking white people, okay? And they always want to raise bait when it comes to me. That's why I have Afro features.
All right, so we hear this, and it kind of always brings up a conversation that I'm always having or privy to having, which is, are Latinos and black people beefing because there's, you know, Latinas and Latinos can step over the black spaces and black people can't step over those spaces we know about Haiti and Dominican Republic. Yeah, so there's this, is there a rift in these communities? I'm from New York, so you go up to Harlem or the Bronx and you see everybody chilling with everybody, but in different places, you know, there are a lot of rifts.
No,
so how y'all feel about that?
I mean, I think racism isn't just America. You feel like there's a lot of, even Dominican Republic and Puerto Rican, like, the lighter you are, the better over there. And the dark you are, like, I remember I had an ex-girlfriend who was Dominican, and she, like, when I met, like, her grandma and stuff, they're like, oh, he's a robber? Like just because I was dark. Like, he's you know, but they don't like it, and that's what, you know, even them, they're like, always making sure your hair's straight, like, so it's not just, you know, in the States, it's everywhere. And I think it's taught, you know, just like a lot of things that we all do habitually is kind of taught. Yeah. But, yeah, dude, I think, I don't know.
You raise a really good point. I mean, I think there's one issue, I think, is the question of race versus ethnicity. And that's one of the things Cardi was trying to hammer out on social media as well. And say, look, you can be of some Latino origin, right? You can be from the DR, you can be from Puerto Rico, you can be from Cuba, and still be black. That's a race. There are white Latinas, there are black Latinos. There are white Latinos, there are black Latinos, right? That's just a fact. So you can be black and Latino at the same time. And when you look at, in Cuba, like somebody like Celia Cruz, if you look here, somebody like Amara La Negra, right? She's clearly black, she's African, but she's also Latina. And that's okay. We got some social comments coming, I think they want to weigh in on this too. But before, I mean, you can look at the range here. Look at Tatiana.
What's Dasha Polanco?
Dasha Polanco, right.
All of them are really beautiful representations of both, you know, blackness and, you know, Latinx communities. But I do think it is an interesting point. Like, I don't think I will be honored at, like, People Latina Awards. But Lala has, you know, can move in the BET Award spaces. So it is interesting to see, like, why there is why we are always so inclusive in our spaces. And then, like, other people are like, fam.
I think, too, because in America, if you're not white, then sometimes you're black. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of where you're at.
That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to kind of get treated the same way, in a sense. That was
And I love that they do get to celebrate, though, because it's just in the same way as somebody's like, there's no white Entertainment Tonight awards. Like, I get that conversation, so it doesn't bother me, but it is an interesting point.
I think it's the aspect of colorism has to do a lot with it, too. Like we mentioned, the lighter you are, the more you can operate in different spaces without having to be attached to black. So when you talk to a lot of, like, you talk to Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, like, they'll be offended if you say, I'm not black. What are you talking about? Like, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Dominican. And it's like, clearly, you have these features that say, hey, you from somewhere in the motherland. And there's this because there's also this notion that being black is something less than. So you don't want to be black because of the hair. You know, you got fine, silky hair. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not black. I'm Puerto Rican. Nose strong and wide as hell. But you know, I'm not black.
I'm 100%.
I'm 100%.
I'm always fascinated by that 100%. That I'm 100% Puerto Rican thing. Is like, okay, but to be Puerto Rican is to be Taino, it's to be African, and it's to be Spanish from Spain, right? So even in your 100% Puerto Ricanness, whatever that means, you're still African, right? But we want to deny our African roots because there's so much anti-blackness.
I had an audition to play something that was Puerto Rican, and my mom is Puerto Rican and Mexican, and then my dad is black. And they even said, they were like, oh, he doesn't look, he looks black. And I'm just like, what does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? Because you go, like I said earlier, you go to Dominican Republic and you'll find the darkest of the dark, you find the lightest of the light.
Me.
People look just like you.
It doesn't matter. Brazil, like everywhere, like
Cuba, everywhere.
You know, 12 Puerto Ricans who look like
Yeah.
like, literally. You go uptown right now and find 12 Puerto Ricans who look just like
But I just think it's so funny, the idea of it. And I had an audition for another role that was Brazilian, and they were like, he doesn't look. And then the guy that got is like 10 times lighter. You know what I'm saying? Just the idea of what they think that is.
They want you to be white, and it's like the largest pocket of Africans anywhere in the world outside the continent of Africa is Brazil. But when you look at who wins Miss Universe, when you look at who's on the TV screens, they don't look like you, any of us, right?
No.
But that's about how we want representations to look as opposed to how they actually are. Ronald Collier is on Facebook and says, if certain groups can divide us, it serves them better. As they say, united we stand, divided we fall. Vale Michaela on Facebook says there's definitely a division even though we are all in the same boat, but people crave to be the superior group in America. So no matter if everyone starts realizing we have more things in common than not, we will always be divided. Trevor, your point is important too, though, that it's not just in the United States, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
David Evans said the black community is definitely the most accepting of all nations of people. When it comes to the Latin community, it's not reciprocated. I mean, literally, zero reciprocity. I don't know about the zero.
It's like
no, it's a good point though.
No, it's tough. Cookie Watson on Facebook said, "What's wrong with Black America? What is not too black and not black enough?" That's another important conversation we always end up having, right? Are you black enough? Is this person black? I never understand what that means. I mean, I'll joke sometimes and say somebody's not black enough.
Yeah, I mean,
we
do it.
Yeah, when you eat mayo.
I love mayo, though.
All right.
Don't let them tell you
that.
mayo.
I'm saying, like, mayo.
You do too.
Mayo,
mayo and mustard.
Wrong with mayo.
Mayo and mustard?
Together?
Turkey and cheese, dip it in your mayo and mustard.
God didn't want it that way.
Bologna and cheese,
God's
mayo and mustard.
See, I don't eat bologna now, but
See?
But that's
black.
what we're see now, again, there is not one type of black, and there are certain things that most black, like I still love a good watermelon, and I still love a good fried chicken. Like we still.
And I don't like watermelon.
I hate watermelon.
And that's what I'm saying. But I'm
tastes like nothing.
All
I'm like, why everybody be eating like?
This is delicious.
Watermelon is hydrating.
Tastes like celery, juicy celery.
Right.
Anyway,
and juicy
I don't even know these two anymore.
My point is, at the end of the day, like nobody's.
Because these aren't stereotypes at all, by the way.
Right.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter, which is a horrible stereotype. I hate that stereotype. But it is one of those things that, like, you know, is pretty.
But we all do it in joking.
Yeah, it's in joking.
But
It's
I do
in
think
good
that's
spirit.
interesting. And to Cardi's point, like, I hate that she always has to prove her blackness because she is her people are from Trinidad. Like her, you know, she is from Trinidad. But I think because she was obviously raised in a more Hispanic or Dominican household, she feels like, yo, I'm both. She always has to prove it.
And can I say one thing too? I think
she's in hip hop
this
too.
goes to another point. It was like you owe no one an explanation.
No,
right.
That's how I be feeling about social media a lot. I feel like the more you give yourself, I always say people can't drive your car unless you give them the keys to your car. So every time I'm on like social media, and I've known people like since it started that they put everything they were into this thing, right? Yeah. So that the minute you do that, if someone says one thing, your day has changed. I'm like, you're telling me that you're for the rest of the day are gonna have some sort of thing in the back of your head that's telling you that you're less than who you are because of something that someone said somewhere else that has no idea what you went through to get to who you are, and you're allowing that to take a. That confuses me. So like, and it comes to that I love Cardi and I'll always love Cardi, but even that is like, it really is affecting her. And she's like, oh my God, but it goes past that. Like we got to realize what's real and what isn't real. And what is gonna propel us and what isn't gonna propel us.
I agree.
Animated Abby Twitter, man. They have to be stopped because they will ruin your life. And
Egg Abby Twitter?
Yeah, Egg Abby Twitter, Anime Twitter.
My girl just broke up with you last night. It's like, what?
Right, like
why am I making sure the angle's right while I'm crying about my, you know?
Right. Hey,
the internet is true. That's very real. I'm making content, man.
Please don't.
I wonder, what do you think is gonna, because I don't feel like the divide is so bad to where we can't, like I've loved my members and my friends of the Latinx community. I don't feel like it's that bad, but I've never gone into their homes.
Dominican Republic.
It's different.
You know what I'm saying? I've never
gone out of Haiti.
So
I mean, they were kicking Haitians out of Dominican Republic.
I remember seeing those videos.
Yeah. So there is a point where like it becomes way too bad.
Right.
You kick people and islands like that.
Right.
Haiti,
And
Dominican
then y'all
Republic.
literally next door.
Yeah, right.
Stand them at the same time.
So it does become an issue when that happens, when you can't live someplace because of who you are.
Right.
Second-class citizenship.
Right.
But
We're
that
on the same gang.
And at the root of that, I think is anti-blackness, black white supremacy, and at the core, we have to root that out because I think part of what does frustrate black folks sometimes is Latinos who identify as black at times when it's convenient, but then can also step outside of it.
Yep.
Also, if you're going to step in and say I'm black, then you have to also be accountable for these narratives of anti-blackness. So don't be calling people, don't talk about people's nappy hair. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't do these things that then make you an ally to white supremacy.
Right.
And then when it's convenient,
operate in black space.
and then operate in the black space. So I'm not talking about Cardi. I'm not talking about anybody in particular because I don't think Cardi does that actually.
Right.
I think Cardi actually embraces.
tries to.
Cardi embraces it, and Cardi's made some mistakes, but Cardi also owns up to it and moves forward. And that's how you learn, right? We don't throw away. We don't throw anybody away. We keep moving forward.
Agreed.
But I'm talking about in everyday life. I meet so many people, you know, who will have a baby. And if the baby's hair isn't straight enough or silky enough, particularly when they have a baby with a black person, they're like, oh wait, they got that black hair.
Yeah.
And then they don't treat the child the same.
Right.
I see this in Arab communities. I see it in Latino communities. I've seen this in other communities, and that's what I'm talking about. You can't have a foot in and a foot out. If you're gonna be down with us, you're gonna be down with this struggle. Then you have to also be accountable. That's all I'm saying. But I want to change topics a little bit because you got so much going on.
Yeah,
Boy, busy.
a lot.
He's the busiest.
Boy, busy.
Can we talk about growing first? Can we talk about growing first? Because
Yeah,
it's rare that my daughter cares about anybody I interview. She's 15 and she's like, oh, you got to do from oh shit, Trevor. She didn't say shit, but she was like, Trevor, oh yeah, let's go.
And I scold her.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you're like a thing, right?
Say it again.
Right. You're like a thing to not just the teenagers, but like you're like a thing. And when did that happen?
I don't know, man. I tend to focus on the work. That's all I really try to do. I think that's the only way I can really get through anything. I feel like, yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you when it happened. When he walked on the set of Blackish and he was Yara's boyfriend, everybody was like, oh, look at this little fine young man right here, young boy coming up out here. You look good.
I think that is when it
I
happened.
think that's what but no, you're great. And then you come out and you're also a singer and you produce and you direct. Why do you ever feel like it's hard to move in all the spaces?
No, I feel like it's who I am. I think it's hard for people to understand it, but for me, it's easy. Like I said, I feel like I'm crazy if I'm sitting still and not doing anything. So it's just like, oh, what can I do? It's like, I'll pick this up, I'll learn how to do that. Okay, cool, now I got that. Yeah, I always say life to me is like a grocery store. You take what you want, and your card is like who you end up being. Like, people offer you stuff, or you can decide, maybe I'll take some of that. I don't need all of that, because my shit moves differently, you know what I mean? Right. So that's always been what it is, and wherever I'm at, I'm just trying to absorb. I remember I was gonna quit acting at one point. Wow. And then I did American Crime, and I literally was like watching John Ridley work, Regina King, Tim Hutton, Andre 3000, and I was just like re-inspired totally of like just watching the movie, even off screen.
Yeah.
I was like, huh, and then I wanted to start directing, so every video on Rough Drafts 1 I directed, and Rough Drafts 2 I'm directing, writing all the treatments. And it just also goes to knowing what you don't like. Yeah. I feel like you can make anything if you know what you don't like. So yeah, just try and make something that you can look at and be like, oh, if I didn't make this one, I still like it. Yeah.
I want to ask you about the album, but season 3 of Grownish.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Season 3 of Grownish is coming. There's going to be a lot of
seasons already.
I haven't seen any scripts yet. We had our first table read actually.
It's going to be,
It's
gonna be like that.
Yeah,
it's going like that.
And for me, I never read, you know, they send you scripts way before. I never look at it until the table read so I can be like surprised when everyone's there. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. And even the second half that we have of season 2 happening right now, obviously me and Anna are doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which I like because, let me tell you why. Because you came in as such a like very pro-black character.
Yeah.
And I like what you said, like you just don't want to operate in one space. So having somebody who is, now you dating somebody who's Latina or Hispanic, has to be interesting as far as your character development.
Some mayo in the cart.
Yeah, hey.
We are live.
You are lit today.
Sorry.
But are you happy with like the complexities that you're starting to operate in?
I do. I think it's interesting. I think the best thing about the show is that it creates a place of no judgment. And I think these two characters in the first season were butting heads all the time about their differences and about their beliefs. Yeah. And I think that it's crazy how the two people that, you know, kind of butted heads the most are the two people that end up together. And I think it just goes to show in any relationship in your life, relationship, friendship, political, whatever, that you kind of have to just take yourself out of yourself for a minute to be able to create a piece or create anything. You got to kind of get out of your own way. So I do think it's super interesting that the girl that he kind of hated essentially is his girl and the girl he really is messing with.
As the show progresses, and you guys for season 2 at the beginning did a Different World like tribute.
Yeah, that was so dope.
I thought it was dope.
That.
Do you think it's a lot of pressure though? Because a lot of people compare Blackish, or they'll hold Blackish at the helm of like the Cosby Show because it's wholesome and it's family oriented. Now that you have the Different World comparison to Grownish, what separates the show in your opinion? And you know, if we could put the comparisons to rest.
Yeah, for me, I never try to. You know, even with the Superfly thing, I didn't want to try and redo anything. I feel like whenever something existed and it's amazing, let it be that. The comparisons are a compliment. It's like icing on the cake, but I don't think that's ever the intention. I think it's, you know, take like, again, the grocery store. Okay, this is what we grabbed from that, what we learned from that. But I think it's an honor to be compared to something as legendary as that. But yeah, man, I always contribute everything to the writers in Kenya. People are always like, oh my God, you do so good on the show. I'm like, I literally just read the lines. Like, it's so
you do more than that, bro, but I appreciate the humility.
It's so good. You know what I'm saying? It's written so well, and it's like, and especially now, since we've been working together so long, they know everybody so well that it just kind of rolls off, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like anyone's trying to put on a, you know, it's just kind of being natural, which is dope.
I love that. All right, so then this album, Rough Drafts 2.
Rough Drafts 2.
So what's the, tell me a little bit about how it's different.
I don't want you to have a bigger pool than condoms.
Tell me a little bit about how it's different from the first one and how, what space you were in when you were creating and writing for Rough Drafts 2.
So, like I said, because I have the setup in the house, I have billions and billions of songs that are just sitting on my computer. But this album in particular, I think, was me being the realest I've been. There's a song called Spamming the Can on here where I'm just kind of revealing a lot of like struggles. I feel like people kind of see the journey from the outside looking in and it looks pretty and it's a pretty painting, but they forget the hours in the painting room where you're sweating, you got paint on your clothes, you know, you might have cried, you might have bled a few times, you know? And I think that I kind of revealed the most I ever have in this album. And even like a lot of my good friends, my best friends are like, dude, we know you don't like to talk, but we always find out what you're going through after we listen to the music.
Wow.
And that's even how I am. Like, they'll come over and be like, yo, I just need you to listen. Like, that's more before I'm even, like, saying hi. I'm like, I want to tell you. But I don't know how. So I feel like music for me has become, like, those lanterns that people light and they let go and you're able to, like, move on. So whether it's breakup, whether it's triumph, whether it's pain, whether it's joy, I've always been able to look back at, you know, music and things that I've made from those places and be like, it turned into something beautiful every time. So that's why.
And my Crocs is great.
Thank you. And that's something because they talk, on Grownish, they talk poop about me every day on that show about the Crocs, right? Can we cuss on here? No.
Yeah, you good.
Okay, shit. They talk shit about me, right? They talk shit. I'm sick of it. No, but literally, that's even the tell, you know, that they're all like kind of staples of someone else's idea of me is not me.
Yeah.
It's not. And I'm sorry, you can say as many things. You would cut the rat tail. Oh, do this. I'm like, for you?
Dragon tail.
Dragon tail, you're right.
There you go, there you go.
But I'm like, for who? For who? Who am I living my life for? Am I living my life for you or for me? Right. Because if I start doing that, it's miserable. Again, bondage, going back to that. So I'm like, I just have been promoting self-acceptance, self-awareness, self-discovery. Yes. I feel like I've always known what I wanted to do, but now I'm learning the how. You know, and why. And
that's part of the journey, man. That's beautiful, man. We got some social media comments. Ryan Mobley on Facebook said, I'm from South Florida. I grew up with a lot of Latino friends. I realize there's a divide, but there's a lot of people that try to close up the divide, i.e. my Latino friends, but we are always going to have those individuals from both sides of the old school races. Santasha Pena says, we divide ourselves. Others follow the disrespect and we don't support each other. When we seem to be doing better than others, we tend to forget all about others as it's all about you. Rocky Robinson said, this Black Coffee Live is so dope. And then Jim from Schenectady said, Trevor is my hero. I love him. You are our hero now too, man. We love you. Thank you for joining us, man. We really appreciate it, man. We can't wait to hear about all the projects they move forward, and we can't wait for season 3 too. Also, thank you all for watching Black Coffee today, and make sure you watch Black Coffee every day. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, BET Black Coffee. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Watch us live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern, but don't go nowhere because right now we're headed over to Twitter for a special after show called Black Coffee to Refill. Our special guest is Senior Advisor to Joe Biden, Simone Sanders. We're going to talk to her about politics and why she believes Uncle Joe should be our next president, so you don't want to miss that. Meet us on BET's Twitter page right now. Peace.
She ain't mom.
Yeah, man.
I'm just saying.